here in Mayhew, Mississippi at the Forge Your Path Expo, where a lot of people interested in cultivating skills and opportunities in the trades in Mississippi have come together to give students insight, experience, and information about how they can take interest in vocational skills and the trades. They can turn that into a very successful career. But Lieutenant Governor Hosemann, thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you, man. It's good to be with you. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, and it's, I'll tell you, have you been out to the Communiversity?
Oh, yeah. I've been there many times, and I was listening to Katie, who's been a friend for a long time, and Christy talked about the fact that they're training the workforce by show and tell, by having them go through their businesses and I guess the rest of the employers that are listening to your show today, and the employees too, recognize that they're going to have the first opportunity to hire these young people. So I'd recommend throughout Mississippi they start this process where they have young people in 8th grade all the way up to seniors in to look at their job opportunities and their skills. And our compensation wages have really skyrocketed in the last year, so there's a lot of opportunities for young people.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lieutenant Governor, I know that education has been a big priority. You worked on this when you were serving as Secretary of State. You did a lot of work on 16th section land and providing resources to schools, but you've continued that focus of workforce development from early school age, giving schools resources, and now with something like Forge, what Katie mentioned is that one of the first times you came and experienced Forge, you stated, we need something like Forge all over the state. Is that something that, what do we need to do to take something like Forge and expand it throughout other areas in the state to ensure that folks in the Delta and on the coast and in other parts of central Mississippi and northern Mississippi also have access to this hands-on learning experience?
Well, two things. One, you're seeing in our high schools, and we have encouraged this, that they're building more and more of these skills areas. They built one out in New Hope, for example, close to where y'all are today. And you're seeing them in Stone County and other places where they're having these skills available locally in the high school curriculum, either located at the high school or closely there too, where they bust these kids to get this type of work experience is so important. Only about 25% of Mississippians actually get a college degree, so 75% of them need a really strong economic job. But the takeaway from this, Mandy, is that these are companies that have seen a need and filled it. And this, while we want to educate our children, and we had the largest teacher pay raise, and we're doing a lot of things from the legislative side of this, it really, really starts at the ground. And those would be these companies taking time to have this, and they may hire some of them. Others may go to a different skill set. But the fact that we do this locally, that you have this kind of momentum at the local level, just changes everything. And so I'd encourage them across the Delta and across the coast and the Pine Belt to those companies have some kids in on Friday or Saturday like they're doing now, or have them work on Saturday morning, or whatever you can do to bring them and show them your company, your employees. It'll give you an opportunity that you need. And quite frankly, it gives an opportunity for a young man or woman that probably they wouldn't have before.
Yeah, and it's showing them what it takes and the opportunities that are before them to be very successful in Mississippi without a college degree. As you said, it's 75% of Mississippians do not get a college degree, and you can be very, very successful and be a part of the growing and important industries here in the state. The other thing, Lieutenant Governor, I think about is, you always hear about people leaving the state for opportunities, and the businesses here, like you said, this local interest, they're so committed to creating those opportunities here in Mississippi, so our most skilled folks and those that get degrees here at Mississippi State, at Southern Miss or at the University of Mississippi, that they don't get that education then take it to another state. They keep it here and invest it in the local communities that many of them have grown up and are a part of, and they want to stay, but we want to make sure we're creating those opportunities that if they do want to stay, they're going to have access to a very successful career.
Yeah, the best thing we have in Mississippi is our people.
Yeah.
And when we have somebody that grew up here, or some that come to school here and whatnot and experience our culture, they want to stay in Mississippi. So we're ahead of the game on convincing them to stay here, our own young men and women, as well as others that may come to our good universities. So what we need to do is make sure they have internet, and the legislature is pouring money into the internet and broadband. Make sure they have good transportation, and we committed, I think, $2.1 billion last year to roads and bridges in our state. Make sure that they have education opportunities, and we raised teacher salaries last year. So make sure that there is a culture here that they can prosper, that they can do either remotely or work in one of our companies or start a company. We just passed a bill this past year I've been working on for years called MFlex, where we give tax credits to companies that have 10 employees and $2.5 million worth of investment. And that's aimed at starting your own small business, although Katie and them started theirs years ago, but starting your own small business or expanding it and keeping it in Mississippi. We have a lot of assets. Our cost of electricity is low. We have water here, man. I know it sounds strange, but everything west of Dallas doesn't have any water. And so we have a climate, a very welcoming personality, our culture. We have hunting and fishing and salt water and everything from casinos to football games. We've got a place, once people get here, I think that they'll be able to stay here. We just need to make sure we have an educated workforce, and that's what Katie is doing. And we started this, and I'll give you just a little bit. Nick Parrish is up there from this. We had a SWIB board with 42 members. We have shrunk that to 7 people called Accelerate, and they are emphasizing skill sets for people that make a good financial living and stay in Mississippi. That's been going on for 2 years. So we're very, very aware of this, and we are setting the table for Mississippians to prosper by staying here and working here and having our grandchildren have a place to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the name of the game is keeping the good people here in Mississippi and attracting others to come to the state. Those that may not think of the state as a place to come to start their business and invest and grow, but often it's a lot of the good work that's been going on under your leadership as Lieutenant Governor, and then at the legislature has created those investments that we need in education, K through 12, but then also supporting our community college. You know, FORGE has this great relationship in the Communiversity with East Mississippi Community College, but could you talk a little bit about the role of community colleges in Mississippi and how important that is in terms of, educating the people of Mississippi so that they are set up for success at the local level?
Yes, it just happened yesterday to meet with the individual that runs PACCAR, makes, of course, wonderful engines right just down the road from where you are. They train their people there. And so what the community universities have done, community colleges have brought that equipment and that location where we actually train your employees before they come to work for you. And so then that saves them on expense, making sure the employee fits in their cultural mode, all the other things that go with the most expensive thing you can do is hire somebody and have them leave in 30 or 60 days. That doesn't do anybody any good. So we want them to be well-trained and well aware of where they're going to work. And PACCAR is a good example of what's happening at the Communiversity there. And there are others. But that ability for us to take that step between education and the workforce and make sure that our people are well-trained, well-qualified, and we have a high rate that they're paying, a high salary or compensation or hourly wage that they're paying these people. So that's where the community colleges fit in. They do serve as a purpose because universities have gotten so expensive anymore to take some of your primary courses before you go up. But our real emphasis is making sure we have a trained workforce here in Mississippi, and that's the slot that they fit in, and we quite frankly do that better than any other state.
Yeah, I